Hello,
Oh,
welcome to Retro Toy
oh.
Princess. I am Allison Troy, and with me today is Brick Something.
Hi, everybody. I was rocking out to that awesome music. I love it.
It's pretty catchy. I like it myself. Um, and Brick is here today to tell us about an amazing kick. No, just kidding.
No!
Kickstarter
Everyone's
is
like, click.
over, right? Yeah, no.
Close window.
Yeah, I'm out. Anyway,
I am here today to celebrate one of the coolest people I know, as I put in my community post,
aw,
Allison Troy. I mean,
thank
can I? People know, right? That's a
you.
public
Yeah,
thing.
we're celebrating my birthday. We're not
Yes.
talking
Okay.
about the
So.
number of it.
Okay. Cool.
But
Cool.
we
Cool.
can definitely say that we're so. And obviously, since I remember the original Star Wars in a theater, it's pretty old. But yeah,
Happy birthday!
well, thank you. Yeah, it's finally shaping up. It was a week. Let's just say it was a week, and um, the shift happened because of Star Wars. So Brick is still getting set up for everyone in the
Yeah.
chat, and I will
Sorry
get.
if I look all weirdly busy, folks.
Yeah,
I'm
no, no
trying to
worries.
get my second camera working.
And just okay, it's all just off screen. So we're gonna start with when my week flipped around. So of course eBay, we all know and love eBay, right? So I've been stalking all of these old Kenner Star Wars coloring books from the 70s online, and I piecemealed together a set of these three. And it left me with this one that I needed. This Luke and 3PO is probably the rarest one in my, as far as I can tell. It was like the last one made. And these also were pretty much only in Canada and other countries. As you can see, Toronto, Canada, down there on the bottom. Let me lift that up. They did make it in some cases to the United States, but not in huge numbers. So they're pretty expensive to put together. Vintage coloring books, as I've limited, are hard to find in uncolored status. As you can see, I found this one in uncolored status. The drawback was it was in Australia, and it was in a lot with all four of them. However, it was for the same price as I would have paid for this one by itself in uncolored condition. And I did previously have all three of these. Several of them were in colored condition, which would have required hours and hours and hours of cleanup, which
How
is a
would you have done
drag.
that? You mean like on the computer? You would have
Yep.
like gone
You
through and
scan
oh,
it
whew,
in Photoshop pixel
whew,
by pixel and just,
yeesh.
yeah. Anyway, I don't have one of those, but at some point I will share like on the community tab sort of just so you can appreciate whenever prior to this find, they're not all scanned yet. So they won't pop up. But any of the pictures from these old Kenner Star Wars books you've gotten before, most of them have needed a little cleanup. So I'm going to put that up so you guys can appreciate my hard work and effort. Just, like I got to channel my late mother a little bit and letting you know how much I suffer for you guys. But anyway, they're all in mint condition. One of them is missing a page. And it's one of the ones I already have. And the page is uncolored in that copy. So it is like the universe was like, hey, girl, happy fucking birthday. And we're far enough in that the F word can fly. The other cool thing is the sailor included some Empire Strikes Back Topps cards. And right there on the top of the list is Leia in Bespin Gown, which is, of course, if you watch my video, my favorite toy on Princess Leia and Bespin Gown, that's pretty significant. So for April and the birthdays and whatnot in this month. So it was just cool. And it helped shift a really shitty week into something better. And just let me know when you're ready to add your extra camera, Brick. Now we're going to go to the chat. So thank you all for indulging me. For those who think I talk too much, you're right, and I don't care. All right. Hello, Largo. Lovely to see you. Largo has sent me a birthday message on Instagram, and I appreciated it, Largo. You're a great person. Also, check out my appearance on Largo's Infinite Playlist with him and Wilhelm for this month. It was 70s disco, funk, and music fabulousness. Toy Mama, hello. Thank you for popping in. Lovely to see you. Alex is here. Hello, Alex. We appreciate you. Hello. Happy birthday. Thank you, Toy Mama. Ray of Black. Thank you. We're doing the public celebration today. It's like, remember in elementary school where you had the party for all your friends at school, and then you had the one at home that nobody could come to because, in my case, you lived too far out in the country for people to get to. So what we're doing today is a public celebration, so that the day of I can sort of be offline and spend the day with the fella. And Rhea says hello, Brick. Hello, Mortal Origins Quirk. Welcome. Lovely to see you. Radical Toys. Hello, Adam. Aaron, thank you. All right, I think we're caught up on the chat.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I was totally talking to you and responding, and I realized I was muted the whole time. So sorry about that.
Are you ready for me to add your page to the stage yet, or no?
I think this might be the best I got. So
okay, no,
I guess so. Go for it. Yeah, it's
works.
at a weird angle.
That's fine. I'm going to get us all rearranged so that, okay. So for the people watching at home, the page next to me is my page, and the page next to Brick is Brick's page. Quick note on this page. This is a page Brick put together from two separate images. I want to call that out because it's amazing and artistic, and I love it. So these were two separate pages from the coloring book that I sent to Brick for us to color today. And he made one image, which is rad. We're here and still no later than 3 p.m. Sorry, 3 p.m. It's 3 p.m. now. No later than 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Maybe sooner, depends on. Brick has been really busy, guys. So if he gets wiped out, we may end.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Okay, I'm here to hang out, and yeah. Thank you for that. No. I want to hang out with my friend. Talk.
And I will probably have to switch phones at some point for the camera, so when that happens I'll let you know. What was the other thing I was going to say?
Can I talk about why I ended up wanting to so the coloring books that Allison grabbed, the artwork is dope. Like you had it on the thumbnail. There's this really cool one of that Death Star officer guy. It's the way that they kind of twisted, or I guess interpreted, these characters was fascinating. And you can totally tell that they were looking at maybe either early production shots or maybe even the toys, because some of the designs are totally based on the toys. So when you sent them to me, I was looking at them. I was like, this one. And I was like, okay, I obviously need to narrow it down. So I took the Momodadon, aka Hammerhead here, who is totally in vintage Kenner goodness. You know, this sort of like beautiful
the onesie,
bluish green, onesie with like super sexy legs exposed. So I was like, okay, we'll do that. I like that a lot. But then Muff Tack over here is kind of special because, you know, you and Lawrence, right, we're kind of talking about like May.
Yeah.
This whole May thing, May the 4th.
May the 4th.
And there's this whole idea of like, what if during May, a bunch of us online like started reviewing 90s Power of the Force figures? So all of a sudden, like, in May, there's all this content. So what I ended up choosing was this 2-pack of Muff Tack.
Oh my God. I remember the
and Cabe.
Because it was a fan club exclusive that you could only get through the Star Wars Insider. And I remember having to mail off for that.
Yeah.
No, wait. I think that one may have been Toy Fair.
Well, it says here. Well, maybe either one. I'm not sure.
It was a fan club, but it was either through Star Wars Insider or through Toy Fair. They started. That's kind of where the exclusive thing started, though, to my recollect. Other than sort of the vintage, like here's the Sears version of the Land Speeder because we're only going to pay this much for a toy. What do you got, Kenner? But I do remember the stress I had around getting that set, whether I'd be able to get that set. I love that, but it was also I remember an interview in Toy Fair magazine. At least there was the interview was in Toy Fair where they were like, these fan club channels give us the chance to offer characters that retail wouldn't want.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So anyway,
I just
30
love
years.
this. I love him. I saw him. I was like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing Muff-Tack and Cabe because they're
Yeah,
weirdly animal warriors. One's like he's a
yeah,
Chadra fan, so he's like very bat. This guy,
yeah.
Cabe is a Chadra fan, bat looking. Is that still canon? Is that the name? Yeah,
I think
Chadra
that's
fan.
still the canon name.
It
So
is.
they didn't
And
change a
then
lot of the alien names.
right, and then Muff-Tack's got that sweet little mouth thing
And the
that.
little proboscis thing.
Yeah, let's call it
Yeah,
that.
he drinks. That's what he does. He drinks. I used to be the Star Wars nerd who like read all of the supplementals.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's he drinks through
No,
that.
you're
He
right.
taps on it to communicate. It's a proboscis.
But it's just it reminds me of something else that you kind of like struggle to find and tap and
Yeah.
share joy in. Okay, sorry, but anyway,
Yeah.
so that was the story. So I figured I'd quickly combine them, and had to like re-angle the table because that was a little weird. Just did a couple little things, and then on mine, because I'm a big dork, they have a poster, with the Aurebesh equivalent of B in Galactic Basic and S because for something, and then also. You know how they like on a lot of these old comics, they have like a quote to tell the story. Yeah. So this in Aurebesh says, "Get in the sass vault, Muff-Tack, Bellard, Momo."
That's amazing. Please send me the completed copy afterwards. I'll put that on my community tab. And that ties into what Motu Origins Quirk is asking. I think this is the first time at your coloring show. Is there a way for us to do it together with you? Today is very sort of last minute, and I'll get to why that is in a second. But generally, yes, I will put a page when I normally do this on Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I normally will put up the page that I'm going to color onto my community tab. So always check there if you would like to color along. And when I have a guest, it's going to be different properties, but there's always Motu at least once a month. Somebody wants to do Motu, which is amazing.
So Allison's being very polite, which is but what she's trying to say is Brick lagged and didn't give her the files.
Well, we're into sort of the ad hocness of today. So you're welcome. And no, hello, no Hunter Hyde. So we are going to get to sort of the this is kind of a last minute throw together ish. And it's because I wanted to take tomorrow off. I do have a pre-record. I do encourage everyone to watch that at 11 a.m. tomorrow, Pacific Standard Time.
What is it?
With Payne.
Rad.
Payne's Toy Samples. He and I did a pre-record like in December.
Okay.
I had an illness and missed a stream. And he had a cancellation due to something from a guest. And I wanted to bank a few episodes, which I have done. And I've been saving them because I'm going to take some time off in June to travel. And I was like, why don't I just take tomorrow off to celebrate my birthday weekend with Matt offline and take a day where I'm not jumping on the internet. I mean, I might be in some chats at some point, but so yeah, and so I have that tomorrow. But then I still want to do. I knew I was going to do the live stream with Oz later.
Oh right, the Sasquatch tonight.
Then yeah, and it's my birthday celebration. Star Wars has been since 1979 when toys weren't available widely in April of 78. So I didn't have any vintage. I didn't have a Star Wars birthday in 78. But from like 79 to like 84, Star Wars was a big component of every birthday.
You know what? I forgot something. BRB.
Okay. Well, and it sort of also ties in because for a while, Star Wars was kind of not fun for me. And Brick, when I started we started chatting and meeting sort of in these online YouTube spaces. Brick sort of helped me get past some of my disillusionment with Star Wars and helped me sort of get back to a place where I love and appreciate Star Wars again.
I remember you saying this, and I'm so
So that was part of why I was like, And we are coming up on the anniversary. You did that live stream on your channel where just a bunch of us got together around May the 5th and
Yeah, I
sort
think
of
was it not
talked
May the
Star
4th?
Wars. I think it was on the 4th or thereabout. It was during Star Wars Celebration.
Yes.
So it was
right.
close to or on. I can't remember exactly how it lined up. But that helped a lot because I was talking with other Star Wars fans who had some of the same disillusionment I did, but you and like Adam and I think Chris Plastic was there.
Yep.
And you were all able to sort of talk about what you still loved about Star Wars. And it really sort of helped me like, and a lot of mine also was sort of tied into, obviously the loss of Carrie Fisher hit me pretty hard. So some of it was just grief over Leia, real world and movie.
Yeah.
But it was good. And so for me now, when I think of Star Wars and online Star Wars content that I'm making or anything I do for my channel with Star Wars, I think of Brick.
Yeah, that's so wonderful.
Brick helped me reconnect to it. So when I was planning today, I was like, I want to do something before I go on Oz's stream and we do the SAS Vault. I was like, I want to do something that, also it's a little bit more in line with, not that SAS Vault's not in line with my, but just something a little keyed in exactly to what I wanted this channel to be, which is, art and toys and rediscovering your love of those things. So, and Brick, of course, and Star Wars, and you're, again, said it once, I'll say it again, you're a big part of why I finally got off my butt and started making content. So, I don't know, it just was really important for me to, and I, like when I was throwing it together, I was like, oh my God, he's been doing all the AWOC stuff. I'm like, I was like, I'll just ask and I'll, like just say like, hey, no big deal. Like, because I still would have done this and I would have dragged somebody on here with me.
You would have all sorts of people wanting to. But yes, so I'm honored.
But, yeah, so I just, I was like, if he can't do it, I know 3 other people who, are happy to join me. Like, I'm very fortunate. I have no shortage of people who are my friends and enjoy this stuff. So, but I just, it was important. And I knew you, with everything, you probably wouldn't pop in later. So I was like, let's at least try to get some time with Brick.
You mean later at the SAS
Yeah,
Vault?
the SAS Vault.
Yeah.
I know you've got
that was very wise of you.
So.
Yep, and I'm having a great time with that. We just came from a short walk, and we're gonna go for a hike after this too. So.
Hello, Races. Thank you.
Dude, Star Wars. I love it. I'm wearing one of my favorite Star Wars shirts. And so I don't know if you can kind of see down there. It says, it's Jin saying, we want you to rebel.
Nice.
I love it.
That was I really loved Rogue One. Like, it felt.
Me too.
It hit really hard. Yeah, I don't, like, it came out before. Again, it's sort of tied up into the Carrie Fisher thing because it came out right before that horrible, the news came that she was, because she had her coma first. Because they found her. But the weekend, that weekend, my friend Kurt and I went and saw Rogue One again. And I'm going to tell you, Rogue One played a lot different that weekend while we were waiting for the new, especially when you get to the end with the weird plastic, waxy CGI Carrie Fisher saying hope. And it's like, ooh. But just sort of the message of that movie, like rebellions are built on hope, and like it hit really hard that weekend. So, Rogue One, it's pretty good. So
I love Rogue One. I'm just in general, I'm a fan of the world.
Yeah.
And so, I don't have a ton of disillusionment about the content. I have a ton of disillusionment about the conversations around it and the fandom. Yeah. That's where I struggle with.
Yeah, I think that's
because I'm a huge fan, and like I actually just finished Defy the Storm, which is a High Republic novel. So good.
Oh my God, I'm behind on my books.
And I am in the process of reading one of their quote unquote YA novels, which are, I know I say quote unquote because people have the wrong idea about them. They're really good and really fun, but it's what is it called? Escape from I forget. Valo. or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, it's and it features three well, it features three little young Jedi and one older one named Vernestra Rowe, who is awesome from the High Republic. Like we met her in those books. They introduced her as
Yeah.
sort of like this young Padawan, and then she is sort of now grown up and in this position of oh wait, I'm totally mixing up the two books. Sorry. Defy the
All right.
Storm has her in it, and we met her as a Padawan in like at the beginning of the High Republic era, and then she kind of quickly grows up because of events,
Yeah.
and then she's going to be in the Acolyte, which I'm excited
Oh,
about, but like
nice.
definitely older, and so I don't know, man. Like I I see no reason to be bummed on Star Wars. I'm just excited about it and I have fun with it. And in general, I'm too old to be upset.
Right.
So
Yeah, it seems really, I don't know, counterproductive. I think for me, a lot of, I mean, again, obviously, some of the conversations we've had helped with that, but a lot of it
yeah.
was sort of that memory of, in 1970, late 77, 78, 79. Other than the holiday special, Star Wars was about, like 30-40% Marvel Comics. But
Mm-hmm.
the rest of that percentage was the Star Wars you made up with your action figures and that you and your friends played
Right.
with your action figures.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, Johnny Luca is probably not here to hear me say. So Star Wars is really about, for me, part of my rediscovery is sort of the embracement of headcanon. Like my Star Wars is just whatever my Star Wars is gonna be.
I miss Johnny. Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah, they need, I'll be glad when he and Kayla are supposed to be back from break next week, I think. So
Okay.
it'll be good. But yeah, I just sort of realized it's like when my favorite Star Wars was not even necessarily the old Marvel series, which I did enjoy, but it was Princess Leia and the droids and
Mm-hmm.
me having those figures and then sort of
Mm-hmm.
going up against the Death Squad commander or trying to escape the Jawas or
Oh, that's right. He was the Death Squad
the
commander.
Death Squad. That was my first Star Wars action figure. That was the first one we found in the store because the early bird kit, um, the figures came, but they did not arrive as soon as they started showing up in stores.
So I know I'm talking to the right person here when I ask this.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, no pressure. But do we know the story behind the name Death Squad Commander? Was it like in error by Kenner, or is there any word on
I,
that?
it's sort of the closest I have been able to determine, because there's no, so much of that. There's a lot that's really documented about early Star Wars, and there's a lot that's not.
Okay, okay, okay.
So there are a lot of early prototypes of the character that is "quote unquote" the Death Squad commander. It is basically a big lumpy black stormtrooper that then morphed into the figure we got.
Oh,
So I think near as I can figure, I don't have any "quote unquote" official sources. This is me cobbling it together from.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No
And
problem.
you and I have had chats where it's like 4 a.m. Pacific time. We can't sleep and we're both up.
I'm
And
making tea, sleepy tea or something. Yeah.
yeah, right. And I'm eating kimchi and
Yes.
going down rabbit holes. And there is, and I need to find, because eventually that will be part of what happens on my channel. Like I've got, like Villain Obscura, which is the series that I've been working out. And I'm going to do the Death Squad Commander as part of that. But it looks like at some point among the materials Kenner got, there is an actor listed as the Death Squad commander.
Ah, got
And
it.
I
Okay.
believe and in that packet they got would have been the picture that was on that card. So I think Kenner just put like 2 and 2 together thinking they were getting 4, but instead it was, and of course then for Empire Strikes Back, he shipped briefly with the same name on the card, and then they switched it to Star Destroyer Commander. And I've heard people like, oh, like sort of almost intimating that's an early version of wokeness or whatever.
Oh, why? Because they changed it from
They
death.
changed it, but at the same time they changed him was the same time that Kenner released Darth Vader's Star Destroyer playset, and that character is featured very heavily on that box art.
Mm-hmm,
So it
yes.
wasn't that suddenly like, oh, we can't have a Death Squad character. It was this guy there weren't, people are like the early peg warmer, there were no peg warmers in the original Star Wars line. You could not find them. You bought everything. My first character was the Death Squad commander because that's all we could find.
Mm-hmm.
You were a kid, it was the 70s, you wanted Star Wars, you got, my first 3 figures were in the store were Death Squad commander Jawa and Vinyl Cape Jawa, and which I don't still have. Vinyl capes did not last long in the 70s. And the Sand Person, those were the last 3 figures released in the 12. Those were the first 3 I found. Well, my parents found.
I'll tell you, the vinyl capes will last if you have a fear that your brother will kick your ass if you break it.
Oh, yeah, no, see, I played with mine. Mine always like would have rips from taking them on and off. And, like the girl play pattern of like dress and
Mm-hmm.
undress.
Yeah.
And then Princess Leia had to try on all the. I think that's what killed the Jawa cape was Princess. It makes a very sassy jacket for Princess Leia. Well, like more like a vest, but
Okay.
Anyway,
Love it.
but anyway, so they changed the name to tie into the toy. The toy now was called Darth Vader Star Destroyer because the name of that Star Destroyer is Executor or Executor.
Yeah.
And they were concerned that that might be too dark for a child's toy.
Mm-hmm.
So they did this big contest, and like there were things like, where the Kenner employees came up with all these names that they could possibly call it, and finally they're just like, let's just call it Darth Vader's Star Destroyer. It's simple.
Sure.
And that's when they renamed the character. And that's what he stayed for the rest of the line. But at that point, it made sense because there are Star Destroyers in every movie. So yeah, that's that side of it, and as close as I can figure out, that's why he's the Death Squad commander.
Nerd respect, Allison. Nerd respect from me.
You're welcome. Right. This is when you guys, everyone's like, it's 4 a.m. Why are you awake? Because Star Wars. Because I'm trying to figure out this thing.
Yep.
So. Oh yeah,
Don't judge me.
But that was, like in '95 when Power of the Force hit, like it was the right time because I was already, every time I would get my check at Blockbuster, I would go to the mall on my I was off on Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm.
Because retail Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are big, especially at Blockbuster in a college town. And that I would go to the mall and I would go to Walden Books and get like a bunch of Star Wars books. There weren't as many as there were later because it was still pre-Power of the Force 2. But I would go get comic books. I get some Stephen King. A lot of V.C. Andrews. I did a lot of V.C. Andrews.
V.C. Andrews. What was V.C.
Flowers
Andrews
in the
famous
Attic.
for? Oh, okay, gotcha.
The one where the brother and sister fall in love because they're trapped in an attic together, and it's very gothic. And we now wonder, like, anyway. And then like I would get, and then I would go to Suncoast, and Suncoast had all the Dark Horse collections of some of the reprints they were doing. There were the illustrated sketches.
Now this was later. Suncoast was sorry to interrupt, but Suncoast was a '90s phenomenon, right?
Yeah, that was in the
I'm
90s.
right.
This is when I had my own my quote unquote own paycheck and no actual bills.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was college, and if you ran out of food money, you just went home and mom fed you.
Yeah.
And they had Stephen Sansweet's book, From Concept to Screen to Toy, which is the first time I encountered the word toyetic, and a bunch of the Kenner lore. And of course, I just instantly fell in love with like all the behind the scenes. And that's the first time I found out about a bunch of the unreleased large size figures and the costumes, and it was just like, whoa, there's this entire. And then of course, right when I started nerding out on all of that was when Hasbro Kenner started re-releasing Power of the Force. So it just sort of all hit perfectly for me. I had in the middle of that book, there's this big photo that has all of the single carded figures that came out. So every time Hasbro would release new figures, I would go look at that and I'd be like, okay, we still need these 17 figures to get a complete vintage recreation.
Right. I didn't collect Powers of the Force when it was around. I would have been, let's see, I guess I would have been in high school and I was still playing with toys, but I was playing with our vintage toys and kind of buying other things. Well, no, Power of the Force was like what, 94, 95?
Yeah. It started in 95.
Okay. So yeah, I would have been in second year in college. And am I doing that right? Yeah, I'm doing that math right. And I think at that time I never really had that like I don't buy toys thing, but what I was doing at that time I think was mostly going to Kmart and grabbing either Lego or Kmart and KB, either Lego, either I remember picking up a bunch of like a couple of random leftover GI Joe.
Oh my god! Right?
Like that came out later.
I miss the days where like figures lingered, where I could go to Power of the Force days. I remember going to Kmart and finding back behind everything, like a 1993 Jessica Drew Spider Woman just hidden back behind everything.
And then there's the other one. It was Toy Biz Marvel stuff, and that was kind of what I was randomly buying when I really shouldn't have been spending on toys, but I was. And then yeah, that was it. And then for some reason I developed at that time the habit of definitely had like a CD music buying habit.
Oh god, I did as well.
And then random VHS. I don't know why. I don't know if I was like fancying myself like a cinephile that had to own films. Not, I mean, you know, a lot of people buy films, but
yeah,
that wasn't. I just remember that being something I starting at that time period for some reason.
No, I mean, I worked at Blockbuster, so like I had a pretty impressive VHS collection. And music, and of course, we all have to acknowledge that back in the day of Columbia Records and Tapes, BMG Music, etc., especially if you had enough roommates in your apartment, I did. You joined yourself, and you got all your free CDs. Then you got all 5 of over a course of a like year and a half, 2 years. I had 5 different roommates. So every time a roommate would move in, I would make them join, and I would give them like $20. I'm like, I'm gonna join. You know, you're gonna join. These are the CDs I'm getting. What do you want? You get to pick 2 of like the 12 or whatever. Here's $20. Here's what we're gonna do. I would get those 12 CDs. I would then promptly buy like the 4 or 5 that you had to buy at regular price. If you get those, if you buy one at regular price, you would often get others at reduced price, and then they would send their clearance sections, and so you could get stuff for like $2 or $3. So I would get these giant boxes from BMG and Columbia. When I left the South, when I moved to Oregon and had to put my stuff in storage, I had like 7,000 CDs.
Nice.
So
I didn't have that many, but whew.
Well, and then when I worked at Blockbuster, we also started getting music, so they would send us promotional CDs so that we could play them in the store, because we were a franchise store. So we had our own distributor, so they would send us so for a long time I had like promotional copies. They didn't have like the cover art, but it was the full CD. So
nice.
I had a pretty impressive collection.
They didn't have, what was it, like a white cover, or was it like the cover with like a box over it says promotional?
You would get like a cardboard. Sometimes it would just be a cardboard, like a white sleeve cardboard that's in the jewel box that said promotional copy, not for resale. Sometimes it was like a black and white copy of the cover art. Sometimes it would be a thin, really thin, like newspaper quality color print. It
Got it.
just depended on how much extra money the record company was going to put into that promotional copy. The bigger releases, of course, got bigger.
It's funny. I was.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no. I was just gonna say I was talking about music a lot with the Toy Migos the other night. They do like this stream afterwards after the show, the extra, and like it was about music, and I was recalling the Warehouse. So my sophomore year of college, when I went, that was the only year that I actually didn't stay in the town where the school was. I went to school in Santa Barbara, and but that summer I moved back home. It's my first after my first year.
Yeah.
And I worked in the local warehouse, WHERE, folks. That was a record store.
Yeah, the warehouse music. We didn't have any close to me, but I remember driving 4 hours to go to one. That was like in Dallas, maybe at one point.
And they were not like cheap stores, but this was right around the time. By that time, they were starting to do used CDs, and so the workers there, we'd get the first pick of as stuff was coming in, and then we would sell it to each other for 79 cents. If we had the wherewithal, like some of them would like buy them from people for that low and then sell it to us. But I always felt like that was kind of shitty for the person selling their stuff.
Oh yeah.
But you could still sell it to each other, even if you the machine would let you do that. And so if you are currently judging me for my unfair practices towards the Warehouse Corporation, sorry, but that is what we did, and it helped me build a nice music collection.
My favorite part about ETB was I got a really good rapport with like our like sales rep. I remember, I'm just not gonna say his name. We'll call him Maurice. We'll call him Maurice. Yeah, right. But he got to the point where he would just throw extra stuff in there. He was like, here's stuff that you might, and it was Texas. My boss was very conservative. There was a constant sort of struggle to get, like he was like, we don't really need rap in the store. I'm like, we are in a very white area of Austin with right by a couple different high schools. Walmart doesn't carry it. The closest Walmart to us doesn't carry rap because of the, like content. Because of the parental outrage. I'm like, so the closest kids can go to get, like Snoop Dogg or whatever is like 15 to 20 miles through Austin traffic, right? So what was our number one seller at my Blockbuster? It was rap, because where could the kids come to buy it? My store. And he's like, I don't, and then whenever he finally, I was just like, let me handle music. I get music, you don't. And he was like, sure, fine, if you can prove. And then the first month or two that he was like, why do we have 15 Snoop Dogg CDs? I'm like, we don't. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I just sold those. They sold as soon as we put them out there. We were selling them for $19.99 a pop because, full retail price or whatever. No, I'm sorry, $16.99.
That fun moment when social conservatism
we were paying
crosses paths with economic conservatism,
right? He was like, who is Master P? I'm like, Master P is this really cool rapper out of New Orleans that the kids don't know about, but they probably want to. And once we stock a couple of them and I put them right there in the front, they're going to know who Master P is, and they're going to be the only kids at school who have Master P. So they're going to be the cool kids. And he's like, I don't know. I'm like,
Master P is sorry.
Oh yeah, no, and it costs like $4 for a Master P because it was directly from his own distributor.
Nice.
It's like $5. We were selling those for $16.99. I wish I had gotten commission.
Yeah, I was gonna say Master P is the guy who's keeping your store afloat.
Yeah, right, exactly. We made a lot of money off. He suddenly
You're
As soon as
welcome.
we had that first month or two of him seeing the profits from the music I was stalking, he like just shut up and let it go.
Mhm.
He's like, I don't
Mhm.
know about this Lilith Fair section you're putting up. I'm like, trust me, everyone's going to Lilith Fair. No one's going to pay $19.99 to buy it at the Tower Records in
Oh
Lilith.
my god.
They will come here to pay $15.99 for Sean,
Sure.
especially Sean Colvin in Austin because she was local. And again, we were just far enough outside of Austin that like, you know, people couldn't easily go find a cool trendy store. We were their option. So we made a lot of money. All of the other blockbusters had phased out music, and that was where our biggest profits were coming in. So
Mhm, mhm.
anyway, it was sort of like
Good
Empire Records
times.
meets Blockbuster, but yeah. So I tried to get books in there. I'm like, let me bring some books into the store. We can. And they're like, well, what will we get? I'm like, there's this author that you've probably heard of, John Grisham. We have all these movies. And he was like, he looked at me like, why would you pick that? And I'm like, well, we are sort of in a conservative part. So while all of the kids are buying all this rap music, their parents went like John Grisham and like Patterson. And we were so close. I was so close to like letting him, to him letting me like bring books into the store to put next to the music. They have this list of magazines you were supposed to get. I'm like, nobody is going to read this. I'm like, we need People, we need InStyle, we need oh god, what was the R&B and rap magazine? The Source. Well, the
The
Source.
source?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was called The Source, but it started out a lot more black urban than it ended up being. It of course quickly became. They got sold a couple times, and it got very
I was gonna say 4080
appropriated.
magazine?
Yeah, right. But in the beginning, when it was far more authentic, it did pretty well. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it was just, and it's not like I didn't listen to a lot of. I appreciate Snoop Dogg, but it wasn't my thing.
I
I was
love
at
it on your birthday. We are going all over the
right the Allison
memory
verse.
lane.
So,
It's
but yeah,
appropriate.
so I don't know. I just, and that was sort of at one point my goal in life was to get like a retail location that had like toys and music, and then Tower Records stole my idea badly.
Oh, that's right. Towards the end of its life,
Now they became the
Tower
store I
had the
wanted to be.
toys.
They were just so overpriced.
I'm
Mm.
so going looking at this coloring. I'm glad that so I took your advice of like printing
Yeah,
on good paper, and I just
yeah,
for my classroom I have a bunch of like really old um art paper and stuff,
yeah,
and I have the like lightest one could find uh a while back. So if I
yeah.
flip it over, it's the sectars page. So I
Oh
put it,
yeah,
but it's a yellowish tint, so it's
yeah,
yellow, and
yeah,
that was perfect for this white
yeah.
furred
It makes all the
muskrat.
difference. Yeah. See, I'm on a really white paper, so
You just use
I'm gonna
white.
have to do like cream and
Hmm.
whatnot. But I do. You got this amazing let's call it collage art of the two different pages to me
Hmm.
later in the day, and like the brown tan paper I have to sit and babysit the printer because it's thick, just thick enough that if I don't sit there and watch if I turn my back for a second, it will kill my printer.
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal for third quarter RTP budgeting is a printer that can handle some of this heavier paper.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm just using what are you using? Like just a HP
um,
thing or
yeah, I have got HP Office Jet, so.
yeah, same here. It's just one of those that we're using, and
Well, I will.
I can just kind of find a way to sometimes I need to like push it in and edge it in a little bit.
Hello. Okay, so quickly, Gady's. Speaking of edging, Gady's Toys is here. Uh,
Hey, Andrew.
Cobb,
Why while you're
Quickly.
doing that, I'm trying to share a screen. I wanted to show people
Yeah,
the original pages. I just
yeah, yeah,
realized.
yeah. Let me present, right? There we go.
Yeah,
Shares. Okay, so share screen.
go for it. Sorry, and you can go through the chat while I.
Oh wait, that wants me to share my screen. Okay, how do I
Oh,
let
I'm
you
sorry.
share
Oh,
screen?
do you see at the bottom by my face? Isn't there something at the bottom of like different
There it
screens, and then
is.
you just click
Yeah.
on it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so which one is? Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I figured I'd just show this while you're saying hello to the chat. Hey, Derek.
Oh wait. Okay, so I get what's going on. All right, quickly, I'm gonna remove.
Oh, and if it's too hard, never mind. I was just.
I don't know what I'm doing yet, so I'm
Oh,
gonna remove that one really quick. It's fine. There we go.
there it
Oh
is.
wait.
Nope. Oh,
No.
is there not
Oh
someone
yeah.
trying? Is
There
there
well,
something?
it has it set up as though you've got two different shares trying to come in. Oh, I got it. Okay,
Got
sorry.
it.
I had to
Yeah, yeah,
switch.
yeah.
I'm dumb. I'm sorry.
No, you're wonderful. Uh, this was the original page. Sorry, and go ahead. I don't need to talk. I'll just sort of show them while you say hello to folks.
Exactly. You know. And see, Andrew knows exactly who that is. So, yeah.
Who Muftak is, or
Yeah. Well, he said by name and put the extra A on the name. So,
yeah. So this was separate. This was him, Muftak, and just had to, whatever, get rid of couple of elements. And then this was Momal, whose
Mom.
eyes were creeping me out. So I switched them out a little. But I just wanted to show the rest of the art because seriously,
Yeah.
this stuff is cool. I love the sort of expressive, like the way
Well,
that.
what's really cool about sort of the history of the book, which well,
Oops.
I'll give everyone a little preview of the eventual video that will happen from these books. Like this, for instance, is the cover from one of the Marvel comics, the three of them fighting Vader. So
Oh,
what
okay.
happened was, of course, because Kenner got sort of caught in the middle of this phenomena with like very little product, Kenner Canada threw these coloring books together. And coloring books are like 64 pages, right? You need
Hmm.
64 pages of art for 4 different books. So there are pages that replicate throughout the 4 books.
Really? Like
But
just
in
just an
basically,
extra.
here's your
Oh,
five-player
oh,
pilot.
got. Like, so you're saying like across the four they have
Yeah, and
repeats?
there's like some pictures where it's like it's the same picture, but it's image flipped, so it's a different, like flipped over. So it'll be fun when it's like I'm putting them together eventually for at the end, and like this, and so for this, like they obviously had the the page, the photo from like the
The
marketing
film.
materials that
Hmm.
Lucasfilm sent over. I'm trying to remember what it was Lucasfilm though at the time. But also there's a funny story about the way it worked when Kenner got the license. They all went to like 20th Century Fox to watch Star Wars because it was a few weeks before it came out. They were in the theater taking pictures of shit on the screen so that they could like go back and make tours with it. So some of this is probably from pictures they took of the screen. Like so they just would have sent, this was all stuff Kenner employees would have had and they were just making it from. In some cases they were tracing and copying panels from like the Marvel comics. Some of it's really bad art because they
Uh-huh.
brought in, and it's not just the in-house Kenner art team, but
Sure.
they brought in some Canadian college art students so they could throw these 4 books together.
You mean Canadian kids in uni?
Yeah,
Sorry,
university.
I'm just kidding.
Whatever. One of the cool things about this one, the rare one, right? The whole reason I bought these in Australia was to get this at the same price with the extras, right? It has, like, for instance, this picture in it.
Oh, so cool! Look at that. I love this
Well,
art.
so yeah, and there are 5 different pages like that with that sort of frame on it, and those are from. And there's this one. So as you can see, it has this border, these really thick lines. So
Yeah, I like those thick lines.
Kenner US didn't get as many. The coloring books were more Canada. They definitely did not. We definitely did not get that one here in the States. Because Kenner released Dip Dots, which I've got my Star Wars Dip Dot set right here. Spectre video and some
What is that? I don't remember that.
oh my God, we'll grab it really quick.
Did you say? Are you saying dip dots or dit dots?
Nope, dip dots. So
Huh.
let's do a preview of videos that will be coming to Retro Toy Princess in the coming year. So Star Wars Dip Dots. It's a paint design book.
Ooh, look at that typography. Sorry, that dip dots typography.
Yeah.
Dope. God, I miss.
So Kenner, basically, this was one of Kenner's color corner. And then they have, I also have the strawberry shortcake set. So they would sell these, and they had that really thick art. And Dip Dots had this little paint tray, and it's like in plastic, so that you would dip so that the paint didn't spill.
You put like little water on it, right? And that activates the paint. I
water.
remember that. I don't
And
remember them
strawberry
being called dip dots though. That's cool.
Yeah, the strawberry shortcake one is scent. I don't know if it's still scented because it's dried out, but at the time it was scented. So Kenner, their focus was not on coloring books, but on dip dots. And they also had a bigger set called Plaints, and it was poster paint sets. And like I have obviously the dip dot set right there. I got it fairly affordably on eBay. It's missing a page, but otherwise uncolored, perfect condition.
That's awesome.
I'll figure out the missing page at some point, and that's a future Allison problem. But the Plaints poster set is really spendy and rare, and when you find it in uncolored condition, it's good luck. And then it's giant posters, so I was like, well, what do I do? Like, I'm gonna then have to scan these giant posters, which I don't have a giant scanner, which means I'm gonna have to go somewhere that I can pay to scan them, and either print them out on really expensive paper or get them scaled down to print out. Like, I was just like, it's a headache. Future Allison problem, right? And it's really for me about the art, preserving those pages. Because eventually the goal is to have like a website where all of these scans I've been doing, I just put them up there for fans and for people who want the art, right?
Yeah.
All 5 of the poster pages, that's what those framed pages are in that book. It's the 5 really rare posters. So not only did I get the missing book for a great price with no cleanup, I have the 5 rarest things that I've been dreading trying to find.
Nice.
Already at the size I need them. I just have to scan them and like make them white. Wait, that's not
Make
racist.
them white. Make
I just have to appropriate their culture from them and make that anyway. But yeah, you know what it means.
Make them white.
Oh, and Rolando is here. Hello, Rolando. Welcome, and thanks for joining. It's good to see you.
Hey, what's up, Rolando? Man, I wish I don't have a gray. I don't have a gray. I just have. So I'm just trying to go lightly with this.
Well, yeah, if you go really light with, you've got the Prismacolor set, right?
Yes, they're.
Do you have white?
I do it. Yeah, I just use the white.
Okay,
It's a
so go
botanical.
really light with the black and then blend with the white, and that is the best option for Prismacolor gray. I am doing all of the background right now, and I'm using the Crayola colored pencils. So yeah, just because I hate using the Prisma on that big of a background.
Ooh, that muff tech. That is blending weird. Oh well. Oh well. Muff tack.
What
a name. What a name. You know, muff tack. Moof milker.
Wait, which one is that from?
He says that's a Chewy, doesn't he? I think Han says that's a Chewy. Calls him a moof milker. I'm trying to remember when though. It might have been Empire.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's
any of the more real Star Wars fans in the house. Could you clarify?
Right. It's not the
big fan.
Wait. Wait. I have to have the coffee. I don't know if I can do the cadence. It takes a little bit to get into that Leia cadence because you have to have the cadence and like the clip, the staccato of like the Carrie Fisher. I spent a year at the Shakespearean Academy delivery she used for Leia. Wait. Why you half-wit, stuck-up, scruffy-looking nerf herder?
Yes.
Not all I can do right now.
Nerf herder.
You have to sit there and do the but she even does it in like her
Her British accent.
yeah, she in the Wishful Drinking, her one woman show, she did sort of how she would get in. There's like a phrase that they taught her at the academy about, it's like this tongue twister about like a proper tea service or whatever. And so like that was how she would practice sort of that particular speaking style. And that's what, and that was the first scenes that they filmed, was the stuff that didn't, because Peter Cushing came in, got all of his stuff, and he was gone because he was one of the most expensive things. Just like Alec McGuinness, they filmed all of his stuff so he could leave because he was expensive. And then at the end, it was just Luke, Han, and Leia, and like the cheap people. So like Mark Hamill spent months and months in like where's Tatooine, like whatever country in Africa they filmed that in, I forget.
Tunisia.
Right. Can't pronounce today. But so it was just, they filmed all of that for months, and they all left and went back to England, and then Mark Hamill joined later. Carrie Fisher just was in England going to school, and then she came and started filming. So Harrison was the last to show up. And like Mos Eisley, most of that was filmed in California on sound stages. But so Carrie Fisher came right from Shakespearean Academy and went to set, and one of her first scenes was Governor Tarkin. I thought I detected Joel Faust. I should wait. Governor Tarkin, I should have expected to find you holding Vader's leash. I recognized Joel Faust, stench when I was brought on board. And then he's like charming to the last, blah, blah, blah. I'm surprised you had the courage to take the responsibility yourself. The more you tighten your grip, Tarkin, the more star systems will slip through your fingers. And like she did like the tongue twister they taught her at Shakespearean Academy, and it's like she did it a couple of times. I'm like, that's exactly why she had that cadence. She's there with all British people. She's the only American on set at that point, other than George Lucas, who infamously doesn't talk to his actors during filming. You're submerged in. It's like how Madonna had an English accent for 3 years, except with less appropriation.
I was listening to Borderline today. Sorry, I guess.
That's such a good song, though. That's a great Madonna era.
Keep pushing me.
Muftak is your boyfriend.
We are all over the place, folks.
Black Phoenix. Did someone say Muftak? Probably. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hopefully Derek will be around later. Derek is going to try to join us later for the Sassfault takeover.
Oh, Derek Hoover was going to punch my face this weekend.
Yeah, right? They didn't realize you were going to. I will say Derek Hoover felt very bad when he realized it's
No, all good. I'm happy that people are happy about X-Men 97. It is cool. That was a sentiment, was like, man, how fun is it to know that so many people actually like a thing that was attempted to, be rebooted.
Right.
So rare.
I've been enjoying it to a degree, but I think you and I are in the same boat where it's like I'm enjoying it as the cliff notes. Like I also remember when I watched the original X-Men 97 when it was it was just X-Men because it was 1997 or whatever. No, it was like 93, 94, right?
It was, yeah.
Whatever year it was in the 90s when those were brand new. I remember being disappointed in the Cliff Notes version. I remember back in the day being annoyed that Jubilee was there. Because I was wanting straight up, like I had stopped reading
Kitty Pryde.
Yeah, I had stopped right. I had stopped reading X-Men as a kid when they killed Phoenix. And to be fair, I was maybe 4 or 5. But my dad would bring those home from 7-Eleven because he would work their night shifts to to college. So he would bring home Wonder Woman, X-Men, Supergirl, starring in Superman Family. Until we went to see the Superman movie, my grandma took me. I'm like, "Where's Supergirl? Who is this man pretending to be Supergirl?" So I've been there. I sometimes get when people are like, "Why is the Silver Surfer a girl now?"
And I wasn't, it's not just like hey, it's not what I remember. I mean, it's more about like, oh, I really enjoyed the stories and the
Right.
interactions, and I felt like a lot of it's lost. Now I get it. Like
Yeah, and that's
I'm
kind of
good
how
with
I
it.
feel too. Like
People can have it too. Yeah, people can have fun with it too, and I love it.
I just
So
yeah, for me a lot of X-Men is sort of that Claremont
yep,
17-year slow burn, back burner,
yep.
slow build peace story
Hmm.
for 17 generations of people, like, and then finally we get Goblin Queen. Like, it took a
Right.
while to get there, kids. It did not happen in 23 minutes of animation. It was like 23 issues and 27 years of our lives. And then later, Under Lake Michigan, um
Jean Grey emerged.
yes, if
The
I
help
ever
of the
write,
Avengers and Fantastic Four, which would have been nice, but I know
yeah.
can't get everything.
Well, it later happened. What X was it? X Factor they called it. I don't. I
Yeah,
have the
X
collection
Factor. They
somewhere.
formed X Factor, which was a cover to, to kind of be like the government, uh, sort of like it was actually a corporation. It was a corporate team who were like capturing mutants. That was a front, but really it was like the original
Right.
X-Men in disguise, and it was fun.
But I've promised myself if I ever write the an autobiography that's just about my comics experience, it will likely be Meanwhile Under Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, but I'm glad it's. I don't know. It's nice to see that Disney is making content
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
people aren't hating. So like
Hmm.
I've enjoyed that. I've enjoyed people who are happy that they're getting something that fulfills them. So
And
but
for me, it's like what's ultimately exciting about X-Men 97, and I hope it's all over the place that we're not necessarily talking about Star Wars, but
yeah,
what
right.
what is exciting is that it does show that they're really trying to one make up for lost time with X-Men content now that they
Hmm.
own
Can
Fox.
use them.
Yeah, but also that they're really setting the stage for like their return or their appearance in the MCU.
Yeah.
And so it is kind of cool. Like, they tease that in Marvels and um where else? The end of Marvels. Oh, in Ms. Marvel, the show,
Yeah.
when they kind of announced that she was I mean, spoilers, but whatever. You haven't been watching, so your choice.
Right.
Um, when they reveal that she has like some kind of mutation in her genes, they play the
Right.
and then
Instead of like,
mhm.
wait, we're sorry, you're not an Eternal. Nobody watched that movie.
Hey, I like that too. But
No,
anyway,
wait, it
yeah.
wasn't the
No, I
Eternals.
understand. I
It
understand.
was. I'm sorry. I apologize. I was wrong. It's the Inhumans. You're not actually an
Oh,
Inhuman.
oh Lord,
I
that was
liked. I okay. Like,
painful.
let's take a moment for all the nerds in the room
Okay, hi
and
nerds.
us and the people watching and talk about Eternals because I feel like Eternals gets a lot of hate it does not deserve.
Okay, we are talking about Eternals, not Inhumans, right?
Yeah, Eternal. I can't say anything nice about Inhumans, so
Did
it's
you
fine.
watch it? I wanted to ask you. Did
I
you watch it?
cannot watch all of
Okay,
it. I got
you
three
did.
minutes into it, and I'm like, I can't. Like, just 3 minutes, I felt so icky, and I don't even know why. It was just like, this is not going to be good. My spidey senses went off. I
Mhm,
heard
mhm,
Whoopi
mhm.
Goldberg go, Molly, you're in danger, girl. Get out. And I got out. And
Molly, you're in danger, girl.
I probably rewatched Friday the 13th, to be honest.
Okay, okay,
I'm gonna
okay.
watch
Well,
terrible movies. I'm gonna watch something I've loved since childhood. Um,
can I just say though, it was dope in Multiverse of Madness, which also teased
that was a great
um
movie.
in Multiverse of Madness, which also teased the mutants and X-Men. But I love that they brought in Anson Mount. Wait, is
Yeah,
that his name?
yeah,
Okay,
the
sorry.
hot
For a second there, I was thinking about the dude from Happy Days. But
yeah,
yes,
and Oxy. Yeah,
yeah,
it's just like that. I
okay.
always do that too.
Anson Mount as Black Bolt, Black
Yeah.
Boltigus, whatever his name is, Boltagon or whatever. Anyways, I thought that was dope. Okay, now
Yeah.
Eternals. What did you want to say
Okay,
about
so
Eternals?
Eternals. So here's the deal. Pros and cons Eternals. One, I think Eternals should not have been a movie.
Okay.
because when it ended, I'm like, that is 17 years of my life that has just passed. It felt like that movie was 17 hours long. I had insomnia. I'm like, this will help because I've heard it's not great, right? Because I do that. If something's gotten bad reviews, it kept me engaged, but it felt at the end of it like the sun was coming up, and I'm like, I didn't have insomnia that bad tonight. It just felt like it went on forever. It felt meandering in a bad way. And my takeaway at the end of it was this should not have been a movie. This should have been a Disney Plus TV show because there's so much that they were trying to cram into there to build, all of this stuff that like it just. And then, of course, despite it being long, it also felt like there wasn't enough stuff. Like I don't feel like we got enough build up for Selma Hayek's character, so that things that happened didn't have the right emotional impact that they should have. Like,
Fair.
I think a good Eternals movie would have been focused on Cersei and Sprite and sort of that bit in the beginning that set them up. And that could have been a whole movie. And then the bigger part could have been a Disney Plus TV show. And I think that would have given it plenty of room to grow and those characters to really shine because there's a lot of great characters that like that movie did no favors. And it's just because it was too bloated, it was too long, but at the same time it wasn't long enough, which seems counterproductive, but it's just because there wasn't enough of the actual story. There was a lot of world building, not enough story, but then not enough emotional impact. So anyway.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I saw it in theaters. I've seen every single MCU movie in the theaters.
Hello,
But
Kenzo.
hey Kenny, it's very much it's a beautiful film because of the talent behind the camera.
Yeah, like
Um,
it was disappointing to me that I was so lukewarm and bored by the end.
And I think the reason why I would only hesitant about the idea of it being a Disney Plus series is because they never will put that amount of money for
Yeah,
her to
that's
be able to
true.
like film in daylight and be on location, and it just
Yeah,
wouldn't
that's true.
that part of it. But the idea of a series where we actually got to know the characters and the bigger world more slowly, I 100% agree that that would have been better for the story that
Well,
they're
especially because you've got Salma Hayek. You need to do more than have her get a couple scenes to like, look, it really was like, look, Salma Hayek, kids, and then look, Salma Hayek, kids.
telling.
And it's just like when Salma Hayek arrives, you pay attention because she is very, like I've watched a lot of bad Salma Hayek movies on purpose because she is somebody that you like to watch. She's charismatic. I watched that movie with her.
She's a little bit attractive as well. Like, let's be
Well,
fair.
there's that, but it's her
No, I know.
attractiveness is
No,
also, beyond
it
that.
is.
Like,
It is. Yeah.
otherwise, Morgan Fairchild would be the biggest celebrity ever because she's very attractive. She's just not very charismatic. I love you, Morgan Fairchild. We had a great interaction on Twitter, but she's not the most charismatic woman. So like it's not always there are a lot of really pretty people easy to look at who don't
Sure.
make you want to watch the scenes when they show up. And like
Mhm.
I think that's part of it. Salma Hayek shows up. I want to pay attention. I want to see what's happening. I want to be engaged, and it wasn't delivering that. So it's to each their own.
And I'll also say on that note, the fact that we're sitting here talking about Selma Hayek, Selma Hayek, Selma Hayek, that's part of the issue that like they really filled that with some amazing players between,
Yeah.
her, Angelina Jolie, like
Right.
everybody is just they're fantastic.
There was a
What's his
great
name?
cast in
Kumar.
that movie.
Wait, what is that guy? Oh my gosh, I'm messing his name up. But all of the actors are involved are great, but they also kind of distract a little bit, and they don't
Mhm.
have the time, as you're saying, to kind of
Right.
shine. So
Well, right,
I
because
get
it's like
it.
it's Salma Hayek. She didn't have time to actually become that character. So it's like
Yeah,
it's hey, same with Angelina. Look, kids, it's Angelina Jolie.
yeah,
There's no time to get lost in who her character. You like let her actually deliver a performance, and I often for me that's what happens with stunt casting. Like even as kids, like we had remember all the disaster movies like Airplane. Well, I'm sorry,
Mhm.
Airport, which became a
Airport, airplane's a little bit
um,
different.
The Towering Inferno. Like we had all these disaster movies with the all-star cast, and it's kind of like you don't actually remember the movies, but you remember that O.J. Simpson burned to death in the Towering Inferno, and we love that for him. Anyway,
He was just cremated too, by the way. But yes, that's perfect timing.
that's what they said about Jason in Friday the 13th Part 5, and yet we still got 8 movies after that. So I'm just saying, children, teenagers, children, everyone under 18 is a child to me now. This summer, if you go to Camp Crystal Lake, don't smoke, don't do drugs, don't drink, don't have premarital sex or anything, because O.J. Simpson may rise from the lake and kill you.
Oh, Jay.
And yeah, that's my theory, is that he's not actually dead. He's just at the bottom of Camp Crystal Lake and will be resurrected this summer to torment and terrorize summer camp, as all true murderers do. Anyway.
I got to go back in and pull out some of these lines that have disappeared from the color.
Yeah,
it's interesting color. Like it totally creates an opaque layer, especially the white.
Yep. Yeah, it's really, especially with Prisma. It's one of the things I like about Prismacolors, is that it will do that, and then you can go back in and sort of play with it. You know, especially on these older coloring books where sometimes the art isn't super great. I find I can save it, finger quote save it. Listen to me, Michelle Pfeiffering the inner city with my I can save this art.
Do you remember? Sorry, we're totally all over the place. But as a teacher, I really appreciate. Do you ever watch Mad TV back in the day when they did a send up of those movies?
Yeah,
thank you, white lady. Yeah,
I loved that. I used to all the time on Facebook just post randomly, like to see who would get mad at me and who were my people, because my people were funny.
But I'm a teacher, so I've sent that to the entire staff at one of my schools.
Oh no, I would post. It's been a long time since we
that went over well.
Where some white woman went into the inner city to save them from themselves, and the people who would get mad and like unfriend me, I'm like, good, be gone. And then of course all the people were laughing. I'm like, these are the people that I need closer in my life, who get, I mean, because I'm like, straight talk, Dangerous Minds is a pretty decent movie. It's based on a true story. It's a little, you know, like, interestingly, in real life, the teacher didn't use Dylan Thomas. She used actual rap music, which seems way more, like, it seems like the movie should have done that. Also, calling it Dangerous Minds, probably not a good idea, because like that, they've got dangerous minds, and she's here to redeem them by teaching them Bob Dylan and Dylan Thomas. So yeah. Anyway, but you know, we used to get that movie. You know, there was The Music of My Heart with Meryl Streep by Wes Craven, also based on a true story. Also, the real life teacher that was based on was like Hispanic, but Meryl Streep is not. And then we of course had the other. When Mad TV did that parody, it was because we got the Hilary Swank movie where she went into. And I'm just like, nobody has ever said, you know, what we really need right now is a movie with Hilary Swank.
Oh man,
no, nobody ever. It's the same with
Karate Kid Part 4 or whatever it was called.
Yeah, whatever. Karate Kid Part 4. Yeah, right.
The Reckoning.
I don't understand why the Karate Kid has to be a girl. And that was when in the 90s I was like, oh, it's going to be interesting in a few years. But I would always say, I don't understand why the Karate Kid's not from the 30th century and a member of the Legion of Superheroes. Who the hell is this Daniel kid?
Yeah.
Anyway,
nice.
Where's Princess Projecta and all of this?
Nice.
Elizabeth Shue is no Queen Projecta, because she's a queen now. Actually, now she's Censor Girl. Okay. Anyway.
Love it. All sorts of nerd action. Okay, what else do we need to do on this?
Hello, Alpha Magnus. And yes, I will, really quick, we're going to plug this.
Hell yes.
Next Friday, instead of my normal solo stream where I color a vintage 1984 Masters of the Universe coloring book, Alpha Magnus is going to join me, and we're going to color original art that he has provided me. based on an action figure he's developing. So that's all I'm going to say about it. But anyway, so yeah, if you're watching this, join me for that on Friday. It's going to be fun. Anyhow, so back. And Payne is back. Hello. Guess who's back? Back in town. Payne is back. There we go. But yeah, so.
Guess who's back? Guess who's back? So that's awesome. I'm really curious to see those. So is that going to be like the first reveals of
I think
Magnus's stuff?
I think it's one of the first reveals of his what he's wanting to do. I'm trying to talk around it because I don't want to give anything away.
I know. So. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I started drawing the coaster, and then it something triggered, and I was like, oh man, this is dope. So Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland.
R.I.P.
Wait, R.I.P.
They closed the whole like the big event where you could like stay in Star Wars part of it. The like the hotel experience is shut down.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. That
not
is
like,
the
not like
Galactic Star Cruiser. The Galactic Star Cruiser.
The whole fun part that I was
Sure,
like, I will save up one day to go do that. If the Imagineers ever can bring that back, just tell them we want that.
Yeah, no, 100%. I was actually just talking to my brother about that today, but that's different. But so I was looking at this coaster, and I was like, what does a coaster look like in Star Wars? And I'm kind of like at this point in my Star Wars collecting, other than like apparel or something, I like in-universe stuff. So this is actually from the Cantina, Oga's Cantina, which is meant to be in universe.
Oh, nice.
And there's different art on the back. So there's like this stuff. I'm such a nerd. But
perfect place to come be a nerd.
Right? Exactly. So I was like, where else am I going to show this? So yay. Thank you. I love this Rancor one. There's a Bantha. These are associated with drinks that they serve, different drinks that they serve there.
Nice.
Gamorrean
Gamorrean punch.
And then like I've got other fun stuff like this for Life Day, which I want to say, it's supposed to light up, but the batteries are probably dead. So for Life Day, I love in canon like prop type stuff now. Yeah. And that Star Wars Galaxy's Edge kind of like, actually this one's better. Does that. This was like, you can load this up with credits, with money basically, and then use this as your gift certificate or whatever in universe over there, which is like super nerdy but awesome, and feels weighty and cool. And then I've got these. Sorry.
Oh, the dice.
A little tear from last
cool.
That famously end up in Leia's hands and
then dissolve because they're made of the Force.
Yes. I love that. Come fight me. And then this is the newest one. This was you put blue milk in this and you sip out of it. It's a sippy thing.
Oh wow.
We never used it. We ordered it, but then put drink in it. And then I think somewhere here somehow, come on, man. See this? That's how good it is. They actually they hide. Oh, here it is.
Oh wow.
And it's dead too, but it lights up. Oh, it's there. It's coming on. Cool. So it's cool with liquids in it. And you walk around the park, with your little thing like this, and you're like, hey, look how Star Wars I am. Life Day. It needed to charge up.
Oh, the Life Day has returned. Only we had Carrie Fisher to serenade us the Life Day song.
It's a Life Day miracle, Allison.
Today on Life Day. And the light saw its shadow. We have 17 more days of Star Wars.
God, I'm a nerd.
Oh yeah, no. I was just like, there is a cosplay creator who sells their wares on Etsy, and they make the Shaldarian wave, the necklace Leia wears at the end of A New Hope, and she makes it. It's resin. It's like $100, which is not at all. Like for the amount of time and energy and effort and
It's a
materials, that is
handcrafted item. Yeah.
very affordable. It's just, that's something you have to sort of work up to. And it's also that, like, it's not like you're gonna wear that. Gonna wear it to like the grocery store. Well, I would, but it's not like that's necessary for every day. But I'm gonna be picking that up sometime in the next few months because I'm just like it's time to make that happen. Right?
Dude, you gotta get that. You gotta get yourself like
Yeah.
a white little baggy hoodie, like a Billie Eilish kind of number, white sweatpants, some white kicks, and drop that thing on top. Go to the corner store. You're good.
Be like, bitch, I'm here to get some corn nuts. What kind of corn nut? BQ, bitch. What the? BQ or BQ? There's only one kind of. I don't care. There was that year they tried to sell us ranch corn nuts, and I had a friend who was like, "These are the best." I'm like, "I can't talk to you."
Were they from California?
No, they were from Louisiana.
Okay.
Thankfully, it was before the
big
internet.
thing here.
Because if they had sent me a
ranch is a big
Facebook,
thing.
I like ranch, just not on my corn nuts. It's like BQ or plain. Like those are the only two flavors we should ever have of corn nuts. I'm a corn nuts purist. Okay, stop ruining my childhood with ranch dressing. And cool ranch.
Didn't ruin your childhood. Your parents did. Sorry.
It wasn't my parents. It was so much. My childhood was mostly ruined by reality.
Yeah. Oh, great.
My parents pretty much gave me everything I wanted that they could make happen. I mean, there were times where,
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, my mom did her best. There were times, my mom, bless her heart, and God, R.I.P. Mom, don't come for me, literally. There are times where there's a great story that I will at some point share, but
not today, Satan.
Not today, because it's one of those sassy, salty, but also bittersweet. I'll put it on one of my favorite toy episodes. Now that I'm doing that, so that's a good place for bittersweet toy things because the story is technically tied to toys. So I need to find it because I wrote it out and I put it on Facebook right after she died. But of course, Facebook is hard to find your memories unless they want to show you your memories. So I'll find it. I'm gonna put those together. I need to get all of my good stuff off of Facebook anyway because it's gonna implode any day now. Back in the early days where you just shared everything on Facebook because you never thought.
Yeah.
The good old days.
Facebook for me is mainly it's Mythic Legions. Really, the Cabal is there. That's sort of the center of the fandom, and then more and more there's AWOC groups there, and it's interesting because there's just a completely different group of people that will use that versus I don't know other things, even like Instagram. So it's hard to keep up though, and I hate the interface. It's so hard to find.
Yeah,
Facebook once you miss a post, it's like I can't.
Listen, that's for me when the disillusionment with Facebook began because I don't know when I got an account in 2008, right when it opened up for non-students.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved in those early days where if you didn't log into Facebook for 3 days, you could go to the timeline where all your friends' posts were and scroll back and you were caught up. You could go back 3 days and you're like, that's the last thing I read when I was here. You could go, you could you could interact, you could say, hey. And then when there's a point where they're like, oh, we'll show you, you have the option to see real time or what we think you should see. And then that just went away. And when that went away was when I stopped enjoying Facebook. Because it's I liked being able to catch up. If I had dinner plans with somebody, I would go to Facebook and then go back through my timeline to see what they had been doing for the last week. So I was like, I don't want to, don't let them bring this story up. I don't want to hear about that. Because people vent on Facebook. And if I'm going to go have dinner with you, I don't want to hear about your bad experience at the post office, for instance. Just don't care. We're going to happy hour to have a good time, my friend. We're not going so you can bitch down at the post office again. I do that in my own time. That's what Messenger is for. It's to complain. You complain in Messenger and on
Yeah.
Discord when you're hanging out in person. This is where your good news happens. Or the like horrible, like I found out I have cancer and I'm going to die. That is an in-person conversation, not a Facebook conversation. So anyway, these are Allison's rule for social media and interaction with me. So if you need to tell me you have cancer and we live within a reasonable drive, invite me to happy hour. I think we're gonna have fun. Drop it on me.
Fair enough.
As long as I got a drink in me, I'll be fine. I'll cry. I'll be mad. We'll say fuck cancer, but don't drop that. I hate nothing more than like if we're close. Like if we're just casual, it's fine. I can find out through Facebook. But I had a really close friend who like told everybody that she had cancer on Facebook. And she just made a big post, and like I get it for like everyone, but we had literally the day before had lunch. We sat at lunch and I'm like, anything new in your life? Not really. Next day, big old cancer post. Like, I've got cancer. I've been doing chemo for 6 months, and I was wondering why she had that weird cap. She had like a weird hat thing on. And I was about to make fun of the hat, and then I'm like, I'm not gonna make fun of what you're wearing today. Normally I would. We have that friendship where we make fun of each other. And I'm like, I'm not going to do it today. I'm just not feeling it. And the next day she does the cancer post. So anyway. I was just like, that was the time to tell me. I had a drink in me. I could have cried with you, and then I would have done the fake positive, like, oh, we'll beat this thing together. Or whatever. And
fake positive.
Well, like it's really hard to be positive with cancer.
When someone announces that, 100%.
Especially the kind of cancer she had. So, like,
Bummer.
Anyway, R.I.P. friend. I'm still bitter about that.
I think I'm kind of filling this thing out. I don't know what else I need to.
Oh my goodness, you're almost done. I've only worked on my background. You make me feel.
Well, I'm cheating because the background's yellow, so I'm like a little bit. I'm a little bit hesitant to. Yeah,
we are. Oh my gosh, we are at like getting to that stage of like. Yeah, no. Time is. We're almost to the 5 o'clock mark.
Keeps on ticking.
It just. That's the thing. Time gets faster and faster the older you get. Oh wait.
No joke. It really does.
Saying, oh no, this is just fan art, but still. I'm gonna dig some info out of you. We're gonna pretend like I'm the big news channel Alpha Magnus on Friday and like drop the hot goss on me. For all of my viewers. Anyway. I almost did that the other day, like so it wasn't real news. I was like somebody was like losing their mind. Not on any of the servers we're on together about like it was not real toy news. I'm sorry, people. There's toy news and there's not real toy news. This was not real toy news, and they were losing their mind. I had that moment of petty, spiteful, because I'm getting ready for SAS Vault later tonight. I'm getting a little sassier than normal.
Nice.
And I had a moment.
Like,
I should jump on the internet and do like a live stream breaking news about this toy news.
Oh no.
And then say, I took your breaking news and nobody watched. So I guess it's not that big of news after all. Thanks. But I didn't. I'm like, that would have been mean. And I just, yeah. So anyway. And it's not anybody who actually even watches my stream anyway. So it's not like, I don't know. Maybe that was it. Maybe I was being passive aggressive because I know they don't watch. But they pretend like they watch.
Into the future. Fake viewers?
Yeah, like I know that like it's hard to make everyone stream, but like when people are like, "Oh my god, your stream the other day was so good," I'm like, I literally know you were not there. I literally know you were not there because I had the other stream pulled up on another window and saw you chatting over there. Come on, stop.
Well, they could have been multi. I've done that. You've done that.
Possibly, whatever.
Trying to be peacemaker. I
It's
guess I'll do random environmental shadowy things, maybe.
yeah, you could, like sometimes.
I need B. Arthur.
Oh my god, I am still salty we've not gotten a Star Wars B. Arthur I mean, Funky McClunky makes a 3D print one that's amazing, but like I still like Lucasfilm slash Disney slash whoever needs to let more like holiday special Cantina aliens happen. Like
I'm
I'm
sure a lot of that is probably one of those things directly from George, because he was
I'm
pretty
sure.
expressly against it. Like he would wasn't even like a little bit. Like he would often just
Like he just has, and as we learned with all those poop jokes in Phantom Menace, he just does not have a very good sense of humor.
yeah. Well,
Uh,
you got to think like he was kind of like clearly he wanted to kind of control Star Wars, or at least developed into that way, to the point where he wanted to go back and change a bunch of stuff. And
right?
so I can understand how that feels from a certain point of view, from his sort of logic and behavior. I can see why he would.
But see here, and here's every time people bring up, and it's a valid argument for the artist who feels like Hollywood took his creation and did something terrible with it. Um, but he did the special editions. What if, and just hear me out, people, just hear me out. Don't I've got the ukulele in case you try to cancel me for this. What if George Lucas in 1997, in addition to the special editions that he did make, if he had done the holiday special edition and gone in and digitally added better elements, removed stuff, dropped in new scenes, like what could that have been?
Oh, hold on a
The
second.
Arthur was still alive at that point. Like, I mean, he got Femi Taylor to come back and put on the green paint to be Ula for an extra half scene that was unnecessary. We don't need to see her face before the Rancor eats her off screen. Like, thanks.
This for you, girl. Keep going.
Yeah, there we go. So why
Got the
couldn't
ukulele
Lucas
just for you.
made a holiday special edition? A holiday special edition. The special says special. We called it special twice. Like, think about it. That could have been really boss. He could have gone back and just taken the audio and made a whole cartoon out of it.
Disney has embraced it in the parks, hence
They
that thing that I had, and that has become a thing. I could see, I don't know, maybe there is a world where it can happen.
In
Who
a
knows?
world
In a
where
world.
Allison is control of Lucasfilm. That's when I met Kathleen Kennedy at that wine tasting. Instead of telling her thank you for putting women in Star Wars that weren't just Leia, I should have not wasted my breath there, and I should have been, girl, we need a holiday special edition. Because you know what Kathleen Kennedy would have said? Same thing she says to everyone who comes to her with an idea. That's a really interesting take. We'll see what. I would have watched her eyes glaze over, like, save me. Which was the exact opposite of that experience. So, Kathleen Kennedy, you're the queen. Anyway,
Where was that? Was that out here?
it was in wine country. Like
Yeah.
it was
Wine Country,
yeah, it
California,
was.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was with a friend, and it was one of those drunken, boozy afternoons. She's like, I have got tickets to this wine tasting thing. Let's go. And I'd been drinking margaritas because what else do you do in like NorCal when you're in wine country? Drink margaritas, girl. And she was just like, I have tickets to this thing. There are going to be some industry people. And I always have the Jill Sobule reaction when people are like, I'm in the industry.
My
I'm like,
goodness.
oh, are you in steel?
Sorry, I just was like, oh my gosh, Jill Sobule. I was not expecting that to be brought up today.
She's one of my faves. That's one
great.
of the first Kickstarters I ever did, actually. One of her albums.
What is it? Oh, really? I didn't realize that's cool.
Yeah, she was one of the first. She was one of the actual first recording artists who did Kickstarter to make a record.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, she's kind of where that all started. She got all this money and most of her albums have been Kickstarters. The last, her fans come in and pay, and she does I need to, before I die or she dies, whichever happens first. I need a house. When we buy our house, that's gonna be my goal.
So that she can come and do a house call?
Have her come do a house concert and play all my favorites. But yeah, she has this line in like one of her songs where she's like, I hate when people say they're in the industry, and I say, oh, are you in steel? And I die every time, because anytime I've gone to the LA area or hang out with people who are in the industry, literally, I'm in the industry. And so anyway, she was like, oh, they're going to be industry people there. And Kathleen Kennedy was there having some wine, I guess with her husband. I don't know. I don't know if it was Frank Kennedy. I don't even know if they're married.
They still are, I believe.
And maybe drop some hot. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know what he looks like.
Oh,
I don't pay
Jesus.
attention to who's married to who.
Oh,
Way.
no. You're like, she was all over this other dude.
She's all over this. I don't know what Frank Kennedy looks like, and I don't care.
I don't either.
We know who wears the pants in that couple. George Lucas. Anyway.
Oh, wait. I think this is part of his head that I messed up. Let's call that his head.
Well,
there you go.
We've all said that at a party before after hours.
Yeah.
So that's part of your head. Anyway,
Joe lies.
But she was really cool. Like, I liked her. She was very diplomatic and neat, because again, margaritas and then wine.
So what year was this? This is post 20.
It was like
2005. Oh no, sorry, 2015. Yeah.
It was.
Okay.
It was before we lost Carrie Fisher, because if it had been after we lost Carrie, so maybe it was 2016, I think, summer of 2016.
Nice. Very
Because
cool.
if it had been post Carrie Fisher, that would have been a different conversation.
Hmm.
I probably would have ended up in jail, because I would have probably like, you are not leaving this party until you agree. Do you agree, Kathleen Kennedy? She was really nice, though. She was really, I don't know. I also don't think she has quite the power that people prescribe to her. I'm
not sure. Ascribe with an A.
Ascribe, yeah. Ascription. But anyway, yeah, she was good people, though. Like, it's just
the grammar section of the show.
Yeah, right. There's a reason George Lucas wanted her in charge when he left.
Exactly.
Right? And she is good at that. She is good at what she is a producer, and her job is to basically go in and do the shit nobody else wants to do. Like, yeah, you're gonna get called a bitch, but you get paid good money. Anyway, I just got canceled by all of those channels on the internet for saying.
Oh yeah, let me go grab that ukulele again.
Yeah, but it's okay when it's those people cancel. If I get canceled by horrible people, I don't care. Anytime somebody starts on a rant about Kathleen Kennedy where it morphs into they just don't like women, I'm good. If they're going to cancel me, that's fine. Because at some point, if they don't like women, they've already canceled me, so I'm good.
I feel like I'm oh wait, no, maybe I can keep tinkering here with some. No, that wouldn't make sense. It would be lighter. Let's pretend.
I have seen that one. Yep. Sorry, I've been ignoring the combo.
Oh, sorry, chat.
I'm sorry, guys. Quip.
I'm hanging out with my friend on her birthday. My bad. What? McClunky.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Quip.
What are folks saying?
Yeah. Oh, Quip popped in to say, hey, he's doing family stuff, which makes sense. And then Andrew recommends the Star Wars Revisited. I watched that. It was pretty good.
What is it? Star Wars Revisited?
Star Wars Revisited, he basically goes in and does the special edition stuff that doesn't work. And that is the thing. Like, if you watch...
Who is he?
His name is... He just goes by Adwan, A-D-Y. I always say Aiden because...
Okay. Someone online.
Yeah, it's an online person.
Fan.
But of the 3 special edition, my point even back in 1997 when they happened and people had feelings, if you look at all 3 of them, Empire Strikes Back is the best of the special editions because that's the one where he went in and did really subtle things that works. Like he opened up Cloud City, he added a few more background elements. They fixed the actual malfunctioning parts of the Wampa. You know, they couldn't get to work. They made it work. Star Wars, for me, the redo worked where they expanded Mos Eisley. I liked all the extra elements. I liked how they sort of made the scope of it big enough for it to make sense. Because basically what we get in the original version, like Mos Eisley is literally like a pile of bricks in the middle of the desert.
Totally. Hey, what's wrong with bricks?
Because there's like 3 of them and it looks like they threw them on the floor and then pushed that land speeder
Yeah.
thing in front of it, like little.
I just learned, I think it was yesterday or the other day on somebody's Instagram reel, that those little like rat creatures were just repurposed Jurassic Park raptors models with like an extra skin.
Yep.
Some of them don't even have extra skin.
Well, one of the Cantina aliens that they popped in there to replace the Wolfman is just the same puppet, and it's like one of them is the puppet and the other is the puppet's head flipped around with the beanie cap on it. Or no, not a beanie, like one of those newsy caps. Little like, yeah, like it's
Newsboy.
Yeah, one of those little like the boy delivering your paper in like the 1800s, or like an old man that's about to ask you to pull his finger at the pickle store. Don't ever pull the man's finger at the pickle store, children. Because even if it's just gassed, you don't need that in your life. Oh my goodness. See, and I'm just starting to get into Sasphalt mode. Just wait until it hits full zenith later in the evening.
What other random colored things can I throw in here? Pink here. This needs pink on this, and maybe here, and maybe here, and maybe here.
Yeah, just throw a little pink into that. I am definitely not going to finish today, and that's fine. It's funny. I probably would have finished, except you did such an amazing piece with this that there's so much more to do with it now.
Oh yeah, I did add. I doubled them up, so
it's cool though. I'm digging it. Like, I'm. You may have created a monster. I may start be like, hey, Brick, here's like 17 pages. Like, work something out
together. Do something.
We're gonna do a live stream. We'll make it a regular feature. Allison and Brick. Stream of consciousness coloring Star Wars coloring book art that Brick has glossed up.
I wish I had like something else for this blaster. I feel like this blaster needs like be darkened, but it's all black, and then it's just gonna disappear if I.
Yeah. You don't have any white. You don't have any paint pens, do you?
Nothing near me now. Oh wait! I should. No, never mind.
When in doubt, grab an acrylic paint pen, my friend. Anytime you're watching a short and all of a sudden there's a bunch of like green and pink stars in the background, I was like, this needs extra something. Let me grab the Posca paint pens.
Nice.
And it's just like, yep.
McClunky.
I love his stuff. I need to rebudget my toys stuff.
Who stuff?
Funky McClunky.
Oh, McClunky. There's someone named Funky McClunky.
He makes resin model 3D resin figures in Kenner style, and he's basically done all of the major characters from the holiday special. So he calls himself Funky McClunky. I'll send you a link. He used to sell his stuff through the trash compactor on Etsy, and now he sells for himself. So I'll send you the link because he's got some great stuff.
I'd love to look at it.
Yeah, Toy Otter is now selling some of his 3D renders as prints through trash compactor. So
that's the one who does those droids recently, right?
Yeah, he's the reason we know all about sort of the unreleased superpower stuff from back in the day. His original website.
Oh, that's who that is.
Like
yes.
Toy Otter. Toy royalty, as it were. But yeah, so
Toy royalty.
But I'm this year, you wouldn't necessarily believe it by the 3 Ghostbuster figures I bought today.
Ooh,
But,
what'd you get?
I got my
Like from the
favorite
current stuff.
Ghostbuster in the world I bought today. Finally found her. Patty Tolan, played by the amazing Leslie Jones.
Oh, rad. They're still
We have not far from me, we have like a toy store, like a guy who, it's not a huge store, but he's got a good selection. He had 3 of the the Lady Ghostbuster figures. He did not have Jillian. She goes for a lot online. These all go for quite a bit online though, despite all the blowback. But I just wanted, and I can never bring myself to pay that much money for a new, finger quote, new toy. He had her for $10. I'm like, I've got to get her. And then I took her off the shelf to get her, and right behind her for $10 was Melissa McCarthy.
awesome.
So I'm like, I must do that. And then right behind her was Erin Gilbert, aka Kristen Wiig, for $10. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna buy all of your female Ghostbusters because, my favorite, again, the best Ghostbuster ever is Leslie Jones. Sorry, peeps. And then I bought this. Well, I wanted to buy this $5 beater Tila, but during the course of the conversation, I mentioned it was my birthday.
Oh.
And so my $5 beater Tila, he was like, "Happy birthday!" So
work it. Nice. Well done.
Yeah, no, great store there. I've been a couple times, and always. He also was funny because I was like, I was buying them. I'm like, it's funny. People have all of those figures unnaturally marked up on eBay because they just can, right? He's like, oh my god. He's like, and he said something like, sometimes when I don't know what to price something, I'll go look on eBay, and it seems weird, but I don't always know. So I may or may not have pointed him in the direction of people within the community. I'm like, you could always go check with these people and they'll give you a fair price.
Oh, that's cool.
So he sells a lot of his business is like Pokemon cards. So he knows all of that backwards and forwards, but it's two different, collectible markets. So, oh my goodness. There's something about a Hammerhead with the like blue onesie that just takes me back to 1979 and like the Gibson's toy department store and scoring him with the with the little pill on the Kinder card with like because he had like that mustardy yellow color. And I know everyone told me in freshman year of college when I bought that mustard denim skirt and a matching pair of denim shorts that I shouldn't buy them. And I know on some level it was because it reminded me of childhood and my Hammerhead.
Actually I'm gonna bite on that the new Momonodon Hammerhead and Hasbro Pulse. Yeah, he looks really cool.
He looks really good.
I love the species. I think they're really cool. The Thorians. And yeah, one of my favorite figures from back in the day because he was so tall too and lanky, just cool looking.
Yeah, I can't get to him because of all the stuff. I'm trying to get all of my room ready for toy tubing. Not tonight, but soonish. But and I'm redoing the Star Wars display, but I still have a vintage one. He's just a great. Again, Kenner like toyetic. People sort of throw it around, but it's like one of the one of the fun things about Power of the Force originally was, we're getting these really like close to accurate representations of the actual characters, which made Star Wars really sort of taupe and gray and brown. There's not a lot of color in it, and it's like Kenner really back in the day, like for Star Wars, the first one, like we may sort of make fun of like Walrus Man's like bright blue legs and the little onesie the Hammerhead wore, but it really made those characters pop. Greedo's neon green bodysuit, like not film accurate, but man, that figure popped.
That was awesome. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like, my mom loved all of the Cantina creatures. She loved the Jawa. It's funny because in that book I was mentioning by Sansweet, he's like, the reason the vinyl cake was replaced was because the cloth cape made it seem more what was it? It made it seem like it was more, like more,
Premium.
yeah, it was like
Mm-hmm.
it made it easier to justify charging the same price for the little tiny figures. It did the perceived value of it went up. And it's funny because I read that and I'm like, I remember my mom, look, it has this cape now. Well, let's get you another one. And I did not have
Soft
army builders
goods.
at that page because, like at that stage, my mom was like, you don't need 2 stormtroopers. Yes, I do. You don't need 3 Princess Leias. It doesn't matter. I've got 3 Princess Leias.
You have to have 3 stormtroopers.
Oh, yeah. So that was the thing, though. All my aunts and uncles would bring Princess Leia and droids when they would come visit just to keep me shut up. Or if we go to the store, I'd be like, I need this. And they're like, don't you already have that? No. And my mom would be like, oh my God, why are you doing this? And then she would put them into the drawer of extras and there'd be like 17 Leias in there and like mini droids. It's funny. My poor mom. My poor mother. She hadn't raised me so well. My manipulative childhood could have been a lot worse than it was. I was the first grandchild, so it was really easy to manipulate the adults into like, I really need this. You should buy this for me. Make me really happy. And I think the one time I was denied stuff was Princess of Power because I was at that age. I think you're getting a little too old for toys now, don't you think? So that was the summer I went to work and I made like $50 that summer between babysitting, mowing lawns. I redid the flowers at my uncle's body shop. I did their garden. Made $50. Bought myself the entire Wave 1 Princess of Power figure line, all the horses. All I was missing was Crystal Castle Cow, who was not at stores, and Enchanta the swan. And for Christmas, my grandmother got me Enchanta and Crystal Castle. So
Enchanta.
My mom was not happy at my ingenuity. That's not what I meant when I said, if you want them, you have to buy them yourself. Because that's exactly what you meant.
Yeah. She raised a good one that could figure stuff out, make things happen.
She mainly got out of my way and let me.
Oh yeah, maybe I was ascribing a little too much credit. Is that?
Yeah, I'm just saying. I did a lot of raising of my own parents. So.
Yeah.
Love my mom, love my dad, but I was smarter than them in some ways. So.
Oh, I'm now just starting to go through the chat. I agree about that Jabba. I like the Jabba scene added, but Jabba himself looks. Oh, I don't like that one. But that's to each their own. I'm assuming he's talking about A New Hope.
Yeah, the New Hope. I don't mind the scene. I think I like that they added the Jabba scene. I wish the CGI I'm glad they went and redid that when they released them on DVD the first time.
You're a wonderful human being, or whatever he says.
Yeah, right. It would have been so easy to just cut that whole line to make it less.
Yeah, just weird.
Because the justification was like, yeah, it's sarcasm. It's like you just cut the line. Like you don't even need that interaction.
I don't even think we've said humans ever in any of the other part of the.
Yeah, right.
Well,
they do that again in Empire, where Han Solo says, "I'll see you in hell." It's like, so we have hell in Star Wars, and it's not Darth Vader's like office whenever he takes his little uniform off and all the skin flakes off onto the floor, and like the poor droid who has to clean up all of that. Okay.
Oh, nasty Vader!
You're so nasty. Why are you nasty, Vader? That's what is missing in my life: is an old lady who tells people they're nasty whenever they walk by. Why are you so nasty?
The Bith aliens are my favorite Cantina aliens. The only Star Wars I have a toy is a Bith, son of a Bith.
Uh-oh. How dare you, Brick?
Yeah, the Bith, the jizz players, right, at the Cantina?
Yeah, the Bith is all up in the jizz.
Because because it ruins the subsequent reveal of the Falcon and is redundant because it's a Greedo scene again.
And
I agree with
a
that
way more
exactly.
valid discussion than just like it wasn't needed. I mean, for other reasons. There are other reasons people that I take.
To me, it's not just the reveal of the Falcon, but which is a big deal. But
yeah,
the reveal of Jabba in Return of the Jedi, because you just hear this presence, you know his name
yeah.
and all that. Bith, please, hear you, Andrew.
No, I
Yeah.
think that's actually that's one of the more valid conversations I've like to me the conversation was never it doesn't look that great. That should never be
Oh man.
I don't like that because to me that's like but what is this the story if the story needs it, let's do it and like if it looks a little bad, it looks a little bad as long as it's not too distracting. Which, you know,
Obviously the Han scene, Greedo scene bothers me too because, again, not just because there's something about how that sets up your understanding of who he is and kind of it makes you kind of wonder about him actually when when they have Luke and Obi-Wan on the ship, you're kind of like, is this guy gonna double cross them?
Yeah, right.
That's
for
all
me
kind of
the main reason the Greedo Han doesn't work is because it doesn't look like there's no way to insert the necessary time into that scene so that it works. Like it literally looks like a bad mistake. And it makes Greedo look really dumb. How do you miss that close? Like like if there was some way to edit it so that it looks like they both drew and then Han beat him, then yeah, that would have worked. But it didn't. Like he could have inserted a thing of Greedo going to push the trigger. Like if you had dropped that scene in there and then had Han shoot, then it would have been really clear that Han got him before he could get Han. Like just the way it's executed is poor. Like you could have done a drop-in scene of Greedo's finger on a blaster thing about to go off. So anyway, we are 3 minutes till 5, which is our stop time. And I am nowhere near close, but really quick, let's do a solo layout. So there we go. Brick.
Sorry, it's my Star Wars display. See, it's like, look, it's in canon. I was a kid coloring my Star Wars comic book with the Arabesh dialogue. And
the way you have the dice set, I thought that for a second you'd drawn dice, and I was feeling really behind.
No.
Just the illusion. It looks really good though.
Thank you.
Amazing job, Rick.
I love these. Thank you for really giving me the opportunity to color and do it. I don't.
And really quick, I'm obviously way farther behind. I talked.
No, you're great. Yeah. I love that. That reminds me of like one of the Filmation stills from like the Star Trek show. The way the colors sit.
Cool. That's kind of what I like, especially with the old Star Wars stuff. I really kind of like getting almost I like the background to look like a background somebody dropped in, and then use the rest of it to sort of with the shading make him look fuller. So
that's cool.
Anyway,
I like the tension too. Got to say, I know I kind of put these two together, but part of why I liked it is because there's a weird tension between him walking with the gun, and I don't know.
No, it creates. There's an actual story here instead of it being two character profiles.
Yeah, hive of scum and villainy, as Obi-Wan described it. Even though he's just a racist old man who doesn't like Mos Eisley, but yes.
Well, I mean, look at it. It's full of walrusmen and hammerheads. This will not normally when we do a color live stream, I say I'll finish this later today and it'll be on Instagram. It's not gonna happen because later I will be on Oz's Clubhouse. I'm taking over with the SAS Vault. Feel free to join. There should be a link on the community tab to Oz's page. I'm also probably going to push that out to my page. So if you're one of my subscribers, it'll be here. Just FYI, sometimes it gets a little not safe for work. We're just going to have fun. It's a birthday thingy. It'll be fun. I will finish this at some point in the next few days and post it on Instagram for everyone to see. And with that said, I'm going to thank everyone who has it. Oh wait, that's the wrong window. There we go. Sorry, I picked up the wrong window. It has, Alex. It's been 2 hours, so. And real quick, yes, the band literally plays jizz music, as we
Yes,
all.
they do.
Yep, sassy takeover. All right, so
Can I offer something to you and to anybody else? So August Cantina, there are 2 volumes of DJ Rex, who was a Star Tours pilot, voiced by Pee Wee Herman, who crash landed on Batu and was repurposed as the DJ in August Cantina, where you got these coasters. But they have a cool version of that jazz music that was played here, that same band, Figure and Dan. But there's all sorts of other cool in-universe music that they made for it, and if you can find it, it's on YouTube, but check it out. I think it's called DJ Rex Cantina. You just do that and you can check it out. Really cool music, lots of different sounds. It's one of my kids' favorite things to listen to, so that's all. That's an offering.
It's cool.
I'm a
That's
nerd.
cool. I can talk. All right, there we go. There we are. All right. Oh God, I hope not.
I was gonna say, when you said it gets non-safe for work, I was trying to think, does it? Maybe more language, I guess.
Yeah,
But yes, there were
language-wise,
those.
no.
Yeah.
There
We say naughty
hopefully will
things.
be none of that. Anyway, but I'll finish this. I'll put it up on Instagram. in the
Happy
next few days.
prolapse for you.
Brooke also at some point in the next day or two will take a picture of his page, post it on Instagram, tag me.
Oh yeah.
So if you're watching this and you don't follow Brooke, go find him on Instagram. And then go subscribe to his page. He does great stuff here on YouTube. And with that, we're gonna wrap this up. Quick reminder, Brick, tomorrow you have a stream on your channel, correct?
I do. That's right. And we're doing it at an earlier time now. So I will be with 1/6 shooter, Trevor Williams, photographer extraordinaire, part of Four Horsemen Studios. And he'll be co-hosting the Brick Something News, which stands for Needless Ephemera We Saw, at 3:45 p.m. instead of the normal 4:30 here on the Pacific, on the West Coast. So 3:45, 6:45 p.m. Eastern. So come hang out. And that's it.
Excellent. As mentioned later tonight, I'll be taking over the clubhouse with Sassvault tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I do have a pre-record with Payne's Toy Samples. Please give that a watch. Payne just came back from his break, so let's welcome him back. Great time to really sit now that he's back and up on YouTube. And Monday I have a compilation video of shorts from like December, and there will be a color and chill next Friday. So, and Friday I've got a stream with Alpha Magnus, and then next Sunday I will be back at my regular time with Aaron the Toy Enhancer. We'll be coloring some G.I. Joe. So
nice.
Until then, I'll be all over the internet for the next couple of hours. So I'll see you guys somewhere.
Woohoo! May the force be with you, everybody.
May the force be with you, and may the sass be strong with you. Later. Bye.